Today we're going to be talking about virtual reality again because a lot has been going on this past week. So the first big thing that happened this past week was the PlayStation VR was finally released. PlayStation VR finally released, Vive, Oculus, and the PlayStation 4 VR are all out and all available for you to purchase. So some interesting new developments on the PlayStation 4 VR. Number one, it completely sold out in Japan. That is amazing. That many people, I'm not sure how many were produced, I haven't seen the numbers yet, but you have to imagine that's quite a number of people buying VR. Second thing that's really cool about the PlayStation 4 VR is you can pretty much hook it up to any device that has HDMI on it. Which means you can hook it up to your Xbox One, you can actually hook it up to your computer if you have an HDMI out on your video card. Now the downside to that is you're just seeing the display in the VR headset. However, there are a ton of people already talking about creating sensors that you can put on the PlayStation 4 VR headset so you can actually use it on computer games and other games. Something else that a lot of people have been talking about is since it has that motion tracking lights, is using a normal webcam to actually track the movement. That would have to be all done through software and who knows how well it would work. But it's interesting that people are already thinking about these things for a headset that literally just came out 2 or 3 days ago. With that said, another thing that happened just recently is the Oculus Rift came out with time warping, which actually takes the system requirements down on the Oculus Rift. I believe it's a 960 NVIDIA that's required instead of a 970 now. What's really cool about the time warping is it's how it renders each frame a little differently. So I'm standing here and I'm moving around, whereas everything behind me isn't. So it's literally just re-rendering the new movement, so it doesn't have to render the background all over again. Instead of rendering the whole frame, it's literally rendering just the stuff moving around. And that's pretty much what time warping is in layman's terms. There's a lot more that goes into it, but I would be here for about 20 minutes explaining how it works. So in layman's terms, it focuses on certain things to render rather than rendering the whole frame, hence increasing your frame rate and lowering your latency. So PlayStation 4 just came out, and the Oculus made changes to make the system requirements lower. So what has Valve been up to? Well, Valve, the HTC Vive, now has new controllers, and I'm going to hopefully show a little clip here. It actually goes into the palm of your hand, and now you can kind of have actual fingers moving and hand movement, a little more control rather than two little sticks that go like that. So that's a step up. There have been some VR headsets that actually use a camera to try to grab your hand, whether you're wearing a glove or a different color, or QR codes on your palms and wrists and things like that. But having a dedicated controller that can do the grabbing and sensing what you're using, that is amazing and that is cool. And even on the mobile VR front, a lot of things have been going on. Google Cardboard is getting upgraded to Daydream Google, which is a new means of having your phone connected to a headset. It looks a lot more comfortable and actually comes with a little controller that actually in VR space you can control and move things much like the HTC Vive sticks. Now the downside to the Daydream Google VR is it doesn't seem to have a hole for the actual phone camera, so it can't really utilize the augmented reality feature that the Android and the iPhone can and the other headsets cannot. So it seems like they're focusing a lot more on VR than augmented reality, which is fine, and hopefully that little controller will work with other headsets as well. That's my major hope. I also hope that more phones have compatibility, because the compatibility list on the Daydream Google Cardboard is extremely low. It seems like it actually has to have specific chipsets and specific sensors to actually work. I'm sure a lot of you have already heard all this news, which is fine. I'm just throwing it out there so people that aren't too familiar with the VR, with virtual reality and the things going on with it, can also be informed as well. Obviously, do your own research if any of these interest you. And that's pretty much all the news that's been going on in virtual reality. It's going to be really interesting come the holiday season, which virtual reality headset is going to be purchased the most, which people like more, etc. So the next couple months will really determine which virtual reality headsets are going to be on top and which ones are just going to kind of be forgotten about. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to post them below. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Have a great one.